the sad tale of Sarah Baartman. Sarah's childhood began in 1789 when she was born into a family engaged in the occupation of cow herding. This family resided near the Gamtus River, located in the Eastern Cape region. Sarah encountered significant adversity throughout her life, as she faced the loss of both her parents during her formative years. Tragically, her mother passed away when she was but 2 years old, and her father's demise occurred during her adolescent years. Sarah's mother is a member of the Khoi tribe, which is recognized as the oldest tribe in South Africa. During that period, there were two prominent physical attributes that enhanced the aesthetic appeal of women belonging to this tribe: a lighter complexion and well-developed hips. Sarah, as the offspring of a woman belonging to the Khoikhoi tribe, also inherits certain physical characteristics from her mother. One notable feature is her well-developed and prominent buttocks, which can be medically referred to as stetopedia. Stetopedia is a condition in which a woman accumulates a significant amount of adipose tissue in the buttocks and thighs, occasionally extending to the front of the thighs. This accumulation of tissue contributes to Sarah's curvaceous figure. Sarah's physical attractiveness captivated the European invaders during the early 19th century, leading them to perceive her as a captivating individual. However, due to racial biases, the Europeans classified her as subhuman. Consequently, they subjected her to severe physical exploitation, despite her impoverished and orphaned status. Sarah worked as a domestic worker in Cape Town for a Dutch doctor named William Dunlop, who was also affiliated with the Royal Navy. She was acquired by Dunlop from an African farmer belonging to the Khoikhoi tribe, who had been her previous employer. Following Dunlop's acquisition, Sarah's situation worsened significantly. She was subjected to enslavement and served as a domestic servant in Cape Town before being taken to London in 1810. Dunlop, along with his business partner Hendrik Caesars, who was of mixed race, convinced Sarah to sign a contract with them under the pretense of her becoming a spectacle in a freak show. They manipulated her into believing that she could earn a substantial amount of money by exhibiting her body for entertainment purposes. Unaware of the true nature of the contract, Sarah, who was timid, reluctantly agreed and signed it. The contract, drafted by Dr. Dunlop, proved to be deceptive, and Sarah Baartman remained enslaved for the remainder of her life, with the contract remaining in effect. Dunlop and Hendrik were responsible for orchestrating exhibitions of abnormality throughout various regions in the United Kingdom, including England, Ireland, and the Netherlands. These shows were financially lucrative, with minimal compensation provided to Baartman for his role in providing sustenance. Sarah, on the other hand, was coerced into participating in these freak shows, where she was scantily clad and objectified for the amusement of paying spectators. She effectively became a commodity under the control of her enslavers, obediently following any instructions given by customers, such as walking, standing, sitting, or dancing, as long as payment had been made. The white individuals observed her with a mixture of astonishment, repulsion, and amusement. Both men and women regarded her as an object of curiosity and subjected her to degrading treatment, akin to that of an animal. In September of the year 1814, Baartman was sold to Roe, a Parisian animal keeper in France. This transaction was facilitated by the attention and interest Sarah garnered during court trials. Concerned citizens, empathizing with her plight, took legal action against Dr. Dunlop's contract with her. They sympathetically filed a lawsuit in an attempt to halt the public exhibitions and exploitation she endured. Unfortunately, they failed because the terms of the contract overruled their complaint, and Sarah herself had at one time made a formal statement that she were doing all the exhibitions of her own volition, that it wasn't a mistreatment. The statement was questionable and lacks integrity, because people were of the opinion that she was coerced to make the statement. Secondly, her poor command of English language was a great limitation to clear communication. However, Baartman continued Palais Royal, her performances displaying at the popularly known Palais Royal. She was caged in a show glass with baby rhinoceros, and Rowe gave her instructions on the positions and styles he wanted her to pose. She was made to exhibit some kind of zoological behavior. This gave her some psychological shift, turning her into an alcoholic person. It was rumored that she also indulged into prostitution as a result. She met a famous French dentist and Surgeon General of Napoleon Bonaparte and caretaker of the menagerie at the National Museum of Natural History. His name was Georges Cuvier. Georges Cuvier is widely recognized as the progenitor of French naturalism and a significant contributor to the field of comparative anatomy. His fascination in Sarah sprang from his intention to employ her as a subject for scientific investigation. Cuvier conducted observations that led to a statement regarding her anatomy and movement, noting a resemblance to the brusque and capricious characteristics exhibited by monkeys. Baartman swiftly gained prominence as a topic of interest among French scientists, leading to the creation of scientific artworks in Paris. These artistic depictions hold the potential to be regarded as significant cultural landmarks, given the narrative surrounding Baartman. The topic under consideration is the phenomenon of racial discrimination from a scientific perspective. In his pursuit to validate his theory positing that Africans were scientifically more similar to animals than to humans, Cuvier sought to examine the reproductive organ of Baartman in order to ascertain the presence of elongated labia. However, Baartman declined his request to observe her reproductive organ. These exploitative actions persisted until Baartman tragically passed away on December 29, 1815, in Paris at the age of 26. The cause of her demise was attributed to pneumonia, syphilis, or drunkenness. Furthermore, it is worth noting that she passed away in a state of destitution, notwithstanding her decease. In 1817, Cuvier proceeded to anatomically examine her body in order to further his research. Subsequently, her dissected body was preserved in plaster and exhibited in Paris. Through his research, Cuvier posited that individuals of African descent are inherently inferior to those of European descent. In 1975, the brain, skeleton, and plaster cast of Cuvier's body were publicly showcased in Paris. However, the exhibition faced criticism from feminists in the 1970s, who contended that it was detrimental and degrading to women. This argument gained traction in 1974. The remains of Sarah Baartman were ultimately withdrawn from public display, and France maintained ownership until 1994. At this time, Nelson Mandela assumed the presidency of South Africa and made a formal request to the French government for the return of Baartman's remains. The French government eventually agreed and returned her body in 2022, coinciding with South Africa's Women's Day. Following a span of 200 years since her passing, Baartman's body was laid to rest in Cape Town. It is worth noting that Thabo Mbeki, the former president of South Africa, played a significant role in this process. Mbeki designated Sarah's place of rest as a nationally recognized heritage site in recognition of the suffering, degradation, and subjugation she endured. Sarah has been recognized as a significant representation of Africa's historical colonial era, particularly highlighting the mistreatment and disdain towards individuals of African descent. Her enslavement serves as a poignant example of the profound humiliation endured by African people throughout history, wherein the remarkable physical attributes and aesthetic qualities of Black individuals were tragically subjected to derogatory racial sentiments. Thank you for watching. The support and engagement of our viewers serves as a source of motivation for us to produce more compelling melanin-rich content. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to keep informed about all our uploads. We strongly urge you to share our videos with your friends and family who may also find them intriguing. Peace.